Hey, hi everyone. Welcome back. So guys, as part of the today's session, let us see a brief overview on this memory concept that we have in an AI. In order to understand this particular concept, let us see a small example here. Consider that when I was traveling in a flight, I met a person on January 2025 on roughly 10th January 2025. I met a person, I had a formal interaction with him, and we discussed generic topics about AI and other chunks. It's fine. And after that, I never met him. And again, unfortunately, I met him on a 27th November 2025. Consider that. As in, when I have seen him, the information, whatever I have a conversation with him, will be triggered in my mind, and I usually remember that particular person. That's what the memory, how exactly a human retains. The similar way, memory in an AI agents is the ability to remember and recall the information from the past interactions, just like how human does. AI needs a memory to have a meaningful conversations. Okay, in order to have a meaningful conversations, the AI does need some memory. Okay, perfectly all right. So let us see a couple of examples on this particular memory so that we can understand this particular one in an easier way. Consider that I went to a decathlon store where a sports hub. Basically, I went to that particular store and I purchased a shoe from there. Okay, a football shoe from there. At the time when I had a check, basically, the size was perfectly all right. But when I came back and when I went to my football ground and when I tried to play that, there is a slight discomfort in the shoe. Immediately, I tried reaching down to the customer care chatbot. As in, when I am trying to reach the customer care chatbot, after entering my order ID, if it is pulling my complete information and if it is initiating the conversation, which means I can say that it has a memory which is retaining my complete information from there. Okay, perfectly all right. Okay, perfectly all right. So consider that this memory, how can we further elaborate it? What are all the various types of memories that we have? Okay, so there are two different types of memories that we have. One is a short term memory, and another is a long term memory. The short term memory means basically whatever the conversation that you are on, if that a conversation is applicable for that particular session itself, as in when you create a new session, it may not have that idea at all what you have discussed earlier, which we call it as a short term memory. Okay, whereas a long term memory, even after closing the session, probably today I had a discussion. Okay, probably today I had some conversation, I ended up the chat. Tomorrow I opened a fresh chat, and even when I was starting the discussion, if it is recollecting or reverting back to the yesterday's conversation, which itself we call it as a long term memory. So let us see a simple example for this, a short term memory and a long term memory, guys. So consider that I have I have opened my Flipkart.com on an incognito mode and I haven't logged in there. And there is a chatbot functionality where I'm trying to interact with. I haven't logged in into my account, but I have specified my mobile number to the chatbot, and we pulled out an order and we discussed the complete details about that order. In the complete session, if I type something, as the conversation was already built, it was able to understand related to that particular product and it give complete information about that. And consider that I stopped the conversation, and after 30 minutes in the same chat, when I continue my chat, as the previous history is already there, which is 30 minutes before, and the session wasn't closed, it recognizes the conversation and it produces further answers for us. Right? That's a short term memory. The reason is I haven't logged in. If I close my incognito mode and if I open a flipkart.com again, it don't have my previous conversation history. Again, I need to start from the scratch. Whereas from a long-term memory perspective, the best example is after logging into your account, if you have a conversation with your chatbot, even after you log out from that browser, and if you log into your account from another browser, the conversation persists, and even you can still continue that conversation. That itself is a long-term memory. Okay, that itself is a long term memory. So the ultimate chunk out over here is your model, whatever you are using, keeps tracks of that particular conversation and it uses that conversation to communicate with us, which itself we call it as a memory. On a high level, we can say that ability of an AI system to store, retain, and retrieve information from the past interactions. We call it as a memory, guys. Okay, perfectly all right. This is all about a memory. In the next session, we will continue with some other concepts. Thank you. Bye bye.